Yesterday's coaching tip that I shared was about the possibility that 1 in 2 of us getting cancer in our lifetime doesn't have to be a reality for us, despite the fact that that's what's been predicted. That's simply based on the past, and we can actually impact that and change that statistic and turn it around. So this coaching tip, I have to look at the how. We're going to start to look at the how, because there's hundreds of things that we can do that I would suggest relate to cancer. And the first thing is to understand that cancer and heart disease are degenerative diseases. We don't really die of infectious diseases like influenza and tuberculosis anymore, certainly not in the Western world. So then we have to look at why are 1 in 2 of us getting cancer? And this is really about the assault on our cells. And it's also about why I mentioned neoliberal economics, the global model that we've been living under for the last 40 years, because that is sociopathic by design, as I've mentioned. It doesn't really take into account people or planet. As you might have noticed, we're destroying the planet. It's purely concerned with shareholders. What that's meant is that there hasn't been effective regulation to care properly about you and I, and the kind of things we're consuming. In 2002, I was with Dr. Myron Wentz, the founder of Sarnaviv Medical Institute, and he was sharing statistics on how food is the primary cause of cancer, followed second by smoking. And of course, all those who smoke are probably eating the same diet that the rest of us are eating, modern diet being processed foods, and particularly highly processed foods are going to be an assault on the cells, and of course things like alcohol are as well. But also, it's not just about the foods that we eat and what we drink, it's a wider toxic environment. So I'm going to give you an example here. This is something that I use because I was concerned about the aluminium in deodorants, not to mention the fact that they block the pores up. So I got myself some aluminium-free deodorants. There's one called Pit Rock, there's a roll-on there, and this is just a spray. But unlike conventional sprays, you don't choke on it the moment you spray it around the room, you know, that kind of effect that you get. But more particularly, it's kind on the body, and my body was certainly delighted when I started using that product. And that applies also across things like toothpaste. Are you aware of what toxic metals are in conventional processed toothpaste that we use? What about the metals in the shower water that we're showering in, the drinking water that we're drinking? Then you've got pollution in the environment. Of course, we're breathing polluted air from car fumes and all those kind of things. So it's basically, as I see it, is a numbers game for the cells. And so this is why we need to move beyond the neoliberal, the conventional society, which just produces these products and doesn't really care too much what effect they have on people, as long as it creates a profit for the shareholders, and start to proactively become aware of what we're actually imposing upon our bodies. And we've seen recently the case with Johnson & Johnson, the unfortunate ladies who saw a link between their ovarian cancer and the asbestos in the talcum powder that they were using. So unfortunately, if we want to avoid these kind of consequences, we have to be proactive to find out what's out there and what's going on.